everyone. So today I decided I'm going to make some cards out of the kit that comes in this magazine, and I've done a whole video to show you all the bits that come with it, but yeah, just going to have a play with this, and I thought that it would be fun to turn on the camera and make with you. There's lots of ideas in here, but I don't think I want to follow all of these. I think I just want to do my own thing, but I might look at this if I get stuck for ideas. Yeah, maybe. So the first thing I want to do is make sure I use the toppers and as many of the background papers as possible that are specifically Christmas themed. Although that said, I really like this combo, so put that on silent. I thought it would be on silent anyway. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do for my first card because I like that. And I picked some other things from my stash. I have my Christmas box next to me, and I'm just going to have a play. These are the cards that came with the kit, although I intend on making more than this, so I will be adding cards as I go. Hopefully these ones line up. I hate it when you get them and they're not. They're all wonky, it drives me bonkers. Okay, so I'm speeding this up and I'm just making a background layer for my card base, and I'm leaving a little white trim around the edge because I thought that'd be nice, and I didn't quite get it straight, so I'm just trimming off the card because it was easier. Then I'm mounting the first topper onto a bit of white card because I want to make it stand out, and I also want to bring in a bit of the white. And then with the snowman and the two background layers, I have 3 elements of white because the background paper is more of like a off-white ivory colour. So I wanted that 3 elements of white in my card. And now I'm adding little gems to the corner of the background piece. So I'm going to add some ribbon, and I'm just adding some double-sided sticky tape to the back of the ribbon and placing it kind of 2/3 of the way up, just over half. And then I'm going to add some lace, and if I had planned this better, I probably would have used the ribbon to stick down the lace rather than using the multi-matte medium, because when it dried it left a glue mark, so I had to go over it with some stickles, but it looked pretty, so it doesn't matter. But just if you're not wanting to do that, then I would use the ribbon to hide where you stick down the lace. So I've just put the topper on, and I'm using my T-square ruler to line it up, and I'm going to turn it over and cut off the extra bit of ribbon and lace. And then I'm going to add my sentiment topper, and I'm going to mount that again in white just for some added interest because it didn't really stick out on the background because it's the same pattern. So I'm just trimming that down. So now I decide that I'm going to put on some adhesive pearls, and I was just using an adhesive eraser there because I got a bit of that glue runner on the edges, and I was thinking about adding some baker's twine, but I decided it was too much, so now I'm just popping up the sentiment on some foam, and I'm using the backing paper of the foam to help me position it where I want it. And now I'm going to add some stickles, and I believe that was the diamond stickles? Yeah, diamond stickles. And here's a close-up so you can see all of the details, the gems, the glitter, and the Nouveau drops. And there's the snowman. Now we're on to the second card. And I'm just laying down some gold washi tape because I don't quite have enough of that paper to cover the whole background. And I decide I'm going to use these scallop borders. So I'm just attaching them with some adhesive dot runner, and now I'm going to add the backing paper, and I'm just adjusting that a bit because they were slightly wonky, which is why I love this adhesive runner, because you can just adjust it really easily. Then I'm going to trim off the edge because I didn't quite have enough paper, but it doesn't bother me. And I'm just deciding on a layout, so I'm going to go with these two toppers. So I'm going to add some, they're like a vintagey gold rhinestone. I'm just going to add that to the scallops to make it stand out a little bit. I think these are quite pretty. I've used these quite a lot. I think I got them in the range. And it took a little while because I had to cut them apart because they were on strips, but it's pretty easy to do with a craft knife. And I'm nearly done. Then I decide that, oh, I'm just saying that I love my polychromos pencils. I decide to give my little Robin more of a depth to him because he looked pretty flat where he'd been printed. So I'm just using my polychromo pencils to add in some depth to the picture, and also to colour in that little tree trunk because it was blank on the image. And this is just a blender pen to smooth out my colouring. I just wanted to blend that into the printed element in the background. And I've got this little bit of scrap paper to clean the blender pen off in between colours. And now I'm just adding some depth to the berries. And because these images are so tiny, I really do need to sharpen my pencil and use my point. And then I'm going to go in with a slightly darker colour on the holly leaves, just so they don't merge together. And I went in with a micron pen in, I think it was sepia, just to add some depth to the eye. And that's my topper finished. So I'm just going to mount it on some foam. And I fiddle about a bit here because I'm trying to use up my scraps. And I just make that sticky back using double-sided tape, to be honest. It's probably the cheapest way to do it. And I love that I was able to peel up the topper when I changed my mind about where I wanted to put it, because I realised I needed a bit more space for my sentiment. And I stick down my sentiment, but later on I don't like it and I move it again. And I decide I'm going to add some lace trim and a bit of ribbon because I wanted to make the cards look a bit more vintagey. They're quite bright and whimsical designs on the paper and the toppers, but I just wanted to do something a bit different, I think. And I'm trying to use up my lace because I have just hoarded this stuff for so long, so I'm trying to use up my supply. So I've just mounted sticky tape onto the back of the ribbon, and I'm using the sticky tape on the ribbon to stick down the lace as well this time, because I learnt from my mistake last time and I'm not doing that again. And I decided to move the Merry and Bright over to the other side so that I can fit a ribbon, which I think is really pretty, and I just tied a quick bow. And I'm sticking it down with a glue dot, but to make sure it doesn't move if I post it, I've added a little bit of multi-matte medium behind it, and I just use my scissors to hold that down while it dries, although the glue dot should hold it. And then I'm deciding to do the same shading to my sentiment with my polychromos pencils. So I'm just picking colours that complement the printed backgrounds. And cleaning off my blender pen again. And then I decide to add some diamond stickles to this one. I just do the border and the words. It's pretty tricky to do the words because they're so tiny, but I use a craft knife or a pin to move. I think I'm using a pin because it's so small, just to move any bits that I got on the background that I didn't want, and to move some of the glitter around onto the letters where I wasn't able to get in with the nozzle. And now I'm using Nouveau drops. That was the glitter drops in Gold Coast. And I've just finished this card. I'm going to show you a close-up now. You can see all the glitter elements I added and the extra detail on the image. Now we're on to the third card. So I'm using Distress Oxide ink in Antique Linen, and it's this lovely buttery ivory colour. It's not quite yellow, but it's very pretty. I like it, and it was a perfect match for the collection. I'm just having a little clean up, and don't forget to dry your mat because otherwise you will get wet cards. Now I'm using a Brilliant ink pad. I think that's Galaxy Gold, if I remember, and I'm distressing the edges of the paper. I wanted to give it a more vintagey, shabby look, and I'm going to ink the edges again. And I go a bit onto the paper as well, but it's hard to see at the moment. You'll see it in the close-ups. Now I'm having a fight with my adhesive roller. I think I get through about 3 before I find one that works. Now I'm using diamond stickles and I'm going around the edges, and I've just used that one up, so I'm getting another one. I just really like the effect that gives. Now I'm learning my lesson from the other video that I made, and I'm sticking down this ribbon and lace with double-sided sticky tape, and I'm hiding the edge behind the ribbon. And here I'm just having a good old hunt for that ribbon, and I'm laughing now watching it because I can see it sitting on my desk. And I thought I'd leave this in because it's funny. And then I get bored and distracted and look at shiny things. But no, I'm going back to hunting for the piece of ribbon. And then I think, oh, stuff it, do I just stick it down? And then I find it. So here we go, back on track. And then I just lift up the lace and add a bit of multi-matte medium to the edge because I don't want it to pull up, because it's only attached on the inside of that ribbon. Now I'm fiddling, tying a bow, and I don't like the way it comes out. I can't get it to lie flat on the tag, and I give it a few goes, but in the end I decide to just take it off and stick it on later.
See? Don't like it.
Hi everyone, I just wanted to show you this card finished because unfortunately I had some problems with my camera. So you saw me add the trim, and I'd started to work on this and I tied the bow, and then I just added these little die cut, I don't know what they are really. These are like branches, I guess. So I added these and they have diamond stickles on, and added them just under the bow. And I changed the orientation because unfortunately I managed to get a bit of glue there and a bit of glue there. I'm not really sure how, but it happened, and I was actually really happy that it did because I really like these little gems that I put on the edge to cover that one up. And then I had to cover up one here, and it made me change the orientation of my card, and I added this embellishment from B&M with another gem in the middle, which is really pretty. And I really like this layout a lot better than the one I had planned. And then I added stickles and some clear Nouveau drops, that's what it was, clear Nouveau drops to the berries. And that's how I finished off that card. So I just wanted to share my third card. There is going to be a part 2. I think I'm just going to keep making cards and recording it until I run out of ideas. So if you're interested, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can see the next one. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye!